Members of the royal family of Bhutan celebrate National Day in Thimphu. Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein delivers Christmas presents to the elderly in Barracks. Sheikh of Qatar participates in the 2022 Walk to Zero in Doha. And the Countess of Wessex attends a passing out ceremony in Dartmouth. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Alexandra, and this is your Royal Daily News for December 17th, 2022. In Thimphu, Their Majesties King Jimne Khesar and Queen Jetson of Bhutan, accompanied by their two children and members of the royal family of Bhutan, celebrated the 115th National Day at the Chang Lim Thang Stadium. During today's celebrations, His Majesty the King gave a speech stating, quote, "As I contemplate our history, I am filled with awe. Bhutan has become a member of the United Nations in 1971. In 1972, His Majesty the Fourth Druk Gyalpo became a king of a country that was largely unknown to the rest of the world. Other than our closest neighbor, India, Bhutan did not have diplomatic relations with any country. The Bhutan that we live in today is a vastly different country. The sheer scale and magnitude of our country's transformation is evident when we see how we are preoccupied with finding ways to manage our economy, national debt, finances, human resources, and institutions. It is all more remarkable, given that it was just in 1974 when we started our own currency and found ourselves struggling to staff our handful of government agencies. Indeed, over the 3.5 decades that His Majesty the Fourth Druk Gyalpo reigned from 1972 until 2006, we fundamentally transformed Bhutan. His Majesty left us the solid foundations of a strong, secure, and sovereign nation. Our greatest collective responsibility now is to build upon His Majesty the Fourth Druk Gyalpo's legacy, to hand over the next generation a country that has achieved as much or even more than it has over the previous 3.5 decades, to leave behind a much stronger nation that enjoys even greater peace, prosperity, and happiness. On this special occasion, I offer our nation's heartfelt gratitude, respect, and prayers to His Majesty the Fourth Druk Gyalpo. Our National Day commemorates the past, present, and future. It is a special occasion to take stock of our achievements as we pledge our commitment for the future." End quote. After his speech, His Majesty the King presented orders and decorations to various individuals, including film director Mr. Pao Choying Dorji, who received the Order of Druk Thutsky in recognition of his service to the nation of Bhutan through his outstanding contributions to Bhutanese films. His film, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom, became the first Bhutanese film to earn an Oscar nomination as one of the 5 nominees for Best International Feature for 2022. After the speech and decorations and orders were handed out, attendees enjoyed traditional music and dance performances. In Colmar-Berg, His Royal Highness Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg and His Royal Highness Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg hosted a reception at Château de Berg for soldiers who were, quote, "mobilized on international peacekeeping operations mandated by the United Nations, NATO, and the European Union." In Barracks, Her Royal Highness Hereditary Princess Sophie of Liechtenstein visited the House St. Florent, a retirement and nursing home. During her visit, the hereditary princess spent time with the residents, as well as brought them Christmas presents filled with goodies and games from the Liechtenstein Red Cross. The hereditary princess also met with staff, nurses, and doctors. In Oslo, the Norwegian Television Broadcasting Network NRK announced the release date for their yearly show entitled A Year with the Royal Family. A Year with the Royal Family will premiere on December 26, 2022 on NRK. Like their neighbor, the Swedish Broadcasting Network SVT will also air A Year with the Royal Family, but with the Swedish royal family. The show will air on December 20th. And last but not least, in Copenhagen, the Danish television network DR released The Year in the Royal House, Duty Before Family. The 1-hour show is currently available to watch. However, it is entirely in Danish and there are no subtitles. But if you're like me trying to learn Danish, it's a great way to learn the language, or become incredibly frustrated with learning the language. But you just keep going, even though people make fun of you because you can't speak Danish. Anyway, if you're interested in watching A Year with the Norwegian, Swedish, and/or Danish royal families, in the description box below, I will leave direct links to NRK, SVT, and DR. In Bangkok, the Thai royal court announced that Their Majesties King Rama X and Queen Sothita of Thailand had been diagnosed with COVID-19. Yesterday, Their Majesties arrived at the King Chulalongkorn Hospital to visit Princess Bajra Kittiyabaha of Thailand. As you may know by now, the princess lost consciousness and collapsed last Wednesday during a run with her dogs. In Doha, Her Highness Sheikha Moza bint Nasir of Qatar attended the closing ceremony of the Scoring for Goals campaign, an initiative of the Education Above All campaign and the Sustainable Development Goals Pavilion, held in the fan zone at Al Bida Park. During today's event, Sheikha Moza, who is a founder and chairwoman of Education Above All, gave the closing speech, as well as participated in the walkathon, wearing 4-inch gold heels, naturally, entitled Walk to Zero. The goal of the late afternoon walk was to, quote, shed light on 3 main goals: zero hunger, zero out-of-school children, and zero-dose immunization, end quote. Meanwhile, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al-Thani, the Emir of Qatar, participated in Qatar's traditional sword dance known as the Arda, held in the courtyard at Al Lusail Palace. The purpose of today's dance was held in celebration of Qatar's National Day. Also in attendance were His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al-Thani of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al-Thani of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Khalifa Al-Thani of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Muhammed bin Khalifa Al-Thani of Qatar, and a bunch of other sheikhs, dignitaries, government officials, and friends. Last evening in Doha, Her Excellency Sheikha Al-Mayassa bint Hamad bin Khalifa Al-Thani of Qatar attended the Qatar Fashion United by CR Runway, presented by Qatar Creates and CR Runway, held at the Ras Abu Aboud Stadium. According to the Qatar news agency, last evening's sold-out event showcased over 150 designers from 6 continents and 50 countries, featuring, quote, renowned names in fashion and regional and international music superstars. Over 20,000 spectators attended the fashion show. Conceived by Qatar Museum's chairperson, Sheikha Mayassa bint Hamad Al-Thani of Qatar, curated by French editor and visionary stylist Karine Roitfeld, and directed by CR Runway CEO Vladimir Roitfeld, Qatar Fashion United by CR Runway presented a dazzling array of looks from both established and up-and-coming designers, end quote. Attendees at the world's greatest fashion show included Mr. David Beckham, Mrs. Lauren Santo Domingo, and a bunch of other glamorous and incredibly good-looking people. Anyway, all proceeds from the world's greatest fashion show will benefit Education Above All Foundation, a nonprofit organization that provides educational opportunities to underserved children and youth and empowers women to become more active members in their communities. In Sharjah, His Highness Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammed Al Qasimi, the sovereign ruler of the Emirate of Sharjah, visited the Wasit Youth Center. Whilst there, His Highness was given a tour of the center, where he met with administrative staff and teachers, who informed him about the activities provided at the center, as well as a, quote, students' achievements in the fields of science, culture, technology, and sports, end quote. On Thursday in Dartmouth, Her Royal Highness the Countess of Wessex and Forfar took the salute, or passing out ceremony, at the Lord High Admiral's Divisions at the Britannia Royal Naval College, as over 200 sailors celebrated the completing of their training at the college and were officially commissioned as officers in the Royal Navy. Meanwhile, His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester, as Ranger of the Epping Forest Heritage Trust, planted a tree for the Queen's green canopy at the Wanstead Flats in Redbridge. On Wednesday, Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra, the Honourable Lady Ogilvy, as patron, visited the St. Christopher's Hospice, where she met with patients and their families and friends to wish them all a very Merry Christmas. The princess was also introduced to groups of St. Christopher's benefactors, supporters, and volunteers who help continue the vital work they do. And finally, on Friday, His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain visited the Marine Infantry Brigade Tercio de Armada and the Tercio Sur at the San Carlos Barracks in San Fernando, Cadiz. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back on Monday, December 19th with all the latest royal news. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful Saturday evening and a great day tomorrow. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, take care, everyone. I will see you all on Monday. Bye-bye.